Hello everyone, today I'm going to do yellow flowers. One afternoon I was walking around neighborhood and I took several pictures of these beautiful yellow flowers. Okay, let's start it. I just make my composition and wet the paper and spread the yellow color, which is the first layer, and I'm trying to make a variety of the thickness a little bit, but considering still it's the first layer, so the color should be very watery, consistency of tea, and I'm trying to negatively shape the composition, okay, and then add few leaves around. Actually, these yellow touches, green touches could be leaves, or they could be background. And of course, I should have them all over the painting. And the next color that I'm using is cadmium orange, and just spatter wet color in some part of the composition. Going to spread them out and start with the center. Always start with the center. I consider three main flowers. They are my focal point flowers, and I just put the center. I spread it out a little bit, and the next color that I'm going to use is a lot darker, which is, in this one, it is burnt sienna. And I'm exaggerating the shape of the center of those flowers. And of course, spread it out a little bit, but remember, you need to spread them towards the direction of the petals. The next color should be a darker one, which now I'm using burnt umber here, few dots inside the center of the flowers, and I'm trying to speed it up because I want to do most of the painting when it's still wet. Okay, and I decide which one comes over the other one. Okay, I decide this one, for example, be the main focal point, so negatively I'm trying to shape it. The color that I'm using here is burnt sienna again. The paper is still wet, and I'm not worried about the background. I just do shape the flower that I picked for main flower. Okay, I decide this one comes over the other one, so again, negatively I'm shaping that, and I'm not worried about the third flower, which is behind that one. Feel free to fade harsh lines away, and this one, because it's close to the background, which could be leaves or background color, So I'm going to use green. And again, negatively, I'm shaping the flowers. And fade the color with spray bottle because this part is not wet enough, so I wet it partially and continue to shape my flowers negatively. And of course I need to add a center for each of them, but those are out of my focal point, so I'm not doing details on those. So again, I can exaggerate the shape of the center of the flowers by adding more, darker value. It's still burnt umber, but because the paper is not that much wet, it's kind of damp, so it's spread partially by itself, but still I can spread it out with wet brush with clean. Of course I need to use clean brush. Again, burnt umber. You have to keep your palette limited, so I don't add different colors to it. I just make them stronger with using more consistency, or I can use same shade but a little darker. For example, I use burnt sienna at first and then I add burnt umber. But they are in the same category. Always with brush strokes, like using the body of brushes or the tip of them, you can create texture around your composition, which makes it more accurate. This time I'm using wet on dry. The paper is almost dry, so I use a lot of water plus color that I want to add, which is a combination of burnt umber and Hooker's green. I try to make this part more yellow, and at the same time with orange, which is cadmium orange, I'm trying to separate them from each other by negative painting. Don't overdo it because those are out of focal point. They don't need too much work. They need to be in shady, unclear, foggy atmosphere. For better access to the shape of the flowers, I just tilt the paper and again negatively shaping the flowers. And try to have strokes towards the center of the flowers, because you are adding different value, and also at the same time you are making the shape of the flower more clear and 3D. Few final touches, which are in darkest value, and always you can mix the colors with neutral tint, indigo, or the complementary of the color that you are using for your painting, to get the darkest value. Of course, you need to add few shadows from the flowers that they are overlapped each other to get depth and make them more three-dimensional. You can even separate the petals from each other by adding dark value negatively, the same thing that we did for each flower. You can do the same thing inside each of them. But be sure that soften the hard lines by washing them out. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.